Good evening. Welcome to this initiative called as Saturdays for Sustainability Learning. And we have one goal, one motive for next maybe 60 to 90 minutes to discuss sustainability topic. And we want to understand the holistic nature of sustainability. So that's the purpose that we are joining here today. And if you are wondering what is this, so this is a mastermind group and it's created to have a peer-to-peer mentoring, learning from each other. We are focusing here to solve the problems, not more focus on problem, but how we can provide solutions. So there is the focus on the solutions for all of us, right? And joining this initiative, spending your 60 minutes, you can expect these outcomes like learning new concept or new aspect of a concept, networking, learning with professionals from different experience, different walk of life. So that's something that we will try to focus, and also thought leadership to where we want to take sustainable development, sustainability discussion in our life and also the country, the world as well. So if you ask me to explain this entire initiative in 1 minute, so I'll do so with DIKW pyramid. So this is data, information, knowledge, wisdom. In today's time, we don't lack data and information. That's possible. That's available very easily. Within few seconds, you can get. But what we lack is the knowledge and wisdom, which only come from experience, which only comes from having implemented these whatever we learn, right? And that's the purpose. This discussion, this forum is more focused on experiences sharing. And that's why I would request all of you to share your insights, your experiences wherever you can. It's these sessions are not expert sessions to say. So it's a guest session. We call it as a guest speaker, right? So it's all about we all are learners, we all are contributors to the session. And second is the discussion, question and answer is the best way to learn. So please feel free to ask your question without any hesitation. And that's what will provide more value to all of us. Okay. How to join? I hope you already have registered. Only one-time registration is required, and that's how the sustainability of joining you in the session will be ensured. You will get the calendar invite and notification. So please do so if you haven't, and if you have, so you might have received the invite as well. So I'm very happy to share. Today is a week 87, session 87, and today we have very interesting topic, and today we will learn something new. There is one simulator called as En-ROADS, and today's topic is understanding urban heat islands with En-ROADS simulator. So you can use this simulator for multiple purpose, but one thing which is common to all of us is urban heat islands, right? So how do we understand that? And I'm very happy and grateful to Siddhesh and Nikhil for joining this session as a guest speaker. And I'll just quickly introduce Siddhesh is a founder of SystemsTree. His vision is to use and teach systems thinking to make tech sustainable. So Siddhesh comes from a tech background and he wants to utilize his knowledge into systems thinking and sustainability. And we have Nikhil, who is from construction management. He's a construction management professional with 15 years of experience. He's a climate and sustainability enthusiast, and he has volunteered with terra.do, JECP, and he has researched urban heat island effect as a part of his fellowship at Mumbai Donut Collab in 2024. And both of our speakers bring a lot of insights, a lot of experience to share and to teach us how we can use this En-ROADS simulator. So without wasting any time, first, thank you so much, Siddhesh and Nikhil, for joining us, and over to you. I'll stop.
Okay, so thank you.
Thank you.
So I will share my screen.
Yes, please.
Yeah. Mm. Hello. Yeah, thanks, Dhananjay, for that introduction. And so we will start. So what we are going to do today is understand something called as urban heat islands, and warming. And we are going to use a simulator called En-ROADS. We'll go in depth later. And that is the way we are going to understand the current reality. I'm thankful for Nikhil and I have been kind of a cohort group, two people cohort group studying this since more than I think 6 months now. Like we are studying this together. En roads, we had done our certification also, which you can also do. It's a free simulator, so you can do, right? So I will start. Yeah. So before I start, I wanted to share why I got into this and why I want to understand it so desperately. And I feel that why every one of us should and must understand urban heat islands, because when it comes to climate crisis, what I feel is that urban heat island and heat effects are is the kind of the first thing that has happened with consequences of climate crisis, right? It's like you can literally feel it. It's the first thing that everyone can feel, right? Heat wave is everywhere in India. I want to share this story where I live in Pune, in near the airport, and it's an area called Lohegao, right? So it's an irony because Loha means it's like iron and it burns, right? So uh, as you can see the uh, news article, the headline, literally it went to 44, above 44 degrees. And I stay here. I don't have air conditioners. I have a terrace flat, and on top of my flat also there is a terrace. Now what happens is outside it might be 44, but inside it gets like above 50. And also in the afternoon when the sun is on the top, the heat gets trapped, right? And in the evening it starts releasing that heat. And since I don't have AC to cool it down, the I literally face this heat till 12 in the night, 1 a.m., 2 a.m., right? And then it slowly starts getting cool down because we are in Pune. It's a kind of you can say it used to be a hill station. So and I get depressed. I really get depressed during that heat wave. And then I think about people who live in, are in a vulnerable situation, who live outside, or how they must be feeling. So it's an issue that we all deeply need to think about what needs to be done and whether something can be done. And that's why this initiative Nikhil and I have taken, right? So,
So this is just a
sorry. Yeah.
thermal scanning image
Yeah.
of a building where you can see various colors, and these colors denote what kind of temperature it is been emitting or released. So red means it is very warm, it's very hot, whereas yellow means it's a moderate temperature, and green means it is cooler area. So this thermal scanning gives an impression of where interventions can be done. Like if this building has a leakage, so how can we fix the leakage? This picture shows that proper interpretation which can help experts to take certain actions.
Yeah. And also when I look at these articles, questions come to my mind. Like when this heat wave happened, Lohegao was facing a temperature of 44, and there is Shivaji Nagar, which is maybe around 13 kilometers from here, and it was having a temperature of around 40. So there was almost a 4 degree difference in temperatures in a 13 kilometer span. So we have these questions, right? Why is this happening? And all. So we are, trying to find these answers through this session.
I would add what
Yeah.
Siddhesh told. In Mumbai also we find similar kind of things happening. Near to Sanjay Gandhi Park, we'll find a very cool or calmer temperature, whereas near to the station, the temperatures will be at high as 40, 42, near to the airports. So this diurnal temperature raises a lot of concerns to the citizens and to the concerned public.
Okay, so before moving, this is a workshop format. We want everyone to engage. We don't want to give a lecture on this because we believe that everyone understands heat emotionally, at least, if not technically. So we have a lot to contribute when it comes to understanding this effect. So let's start with a discussion. If we have to ask what is the temperature at your place during summers, you can type your answers in the chat. What do you feel? What is if you're aware, what is the average temperature you nowadays get during summers? You can speak also, please, because we want it to be a discussion format. So chat.
And now it is
39,
40 plus.
Yeah, 40 plus. Where exactly you are located?
Nearby Kadras.
Okay, Kadraj. And this you feel how many month, how many days it is above 40?
No, at least 1.5 months.
Okay. Hmm. What about others? I think Amit stays in a very cool place. I think he is currently in north. Where are you? In a hill station?
No, I'm in
Amit?
Bombay,
Bombay,
but
Bombay.
right
Okay.
now I'm traveling.
Okay, I think you are not audible. I think Amit is traveling, so you're not audible probably. Okay, 2 weeks, 39 degrees. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, Anand, where do you stay? 30 to 32. Bangalore. Yeah. I guess so. Okay. And suppose you're feeling whatever temperature you are, that's the actual temperature. What is the apparent temperature where you feel like I said, right? When I say outside temperature is 44, I feel like 50. That's the feel fit temperature because of the
Yeah,
humidity or the wind.
true. Yeah, I also feel the same. Yeah.
Yeah. How much difference do you notice the apparent temperature? You can write it down also. Yeah, Vasai is a cool place, Amit. So because you have a lot of mangroves, I think mangroves are there, right? And a lot of trees. And just an emotional question, to carry forward the discussion as to how do you feel when you face a heat wave? You can put it in chat, or you can talk also. What is your feeling? How do you feel? It drains life. Okay, exhausting.
For me, I like more like rainy season or the winter.
But
Yeah.
have you ever faced a heat wave where you were trapped in
Yeah.
a heat wave, and what was your feeling going on?
Yeah, it's frustration for me because for my house as well, it was the same case, top and west facing. So after after 2 o'clock, after 1 o'clock, so it was completely it's unbearable. So yeah, so it's frustration mostly for me.
True. So taking that ahead, let's try to set the agenda, right? What we are going to do now is we are going to first understand what urban heat islands are, right? It's an effect. So we will first set the ground to understand what it is. Then we will introduce you to En-ROADS simulator, right? Why we are using it, what it is, and it's a free simulator, so anyone can use it. And then we are going to look at urban heat islands through En-ROADS, try to make the sense of current reality through En-ROADS. And then finally, because now heat waves are coming, everything, what the best way is to look at adaptation and mitigation strategies, and what is the way forward, what each of us look forward to when it comes to that. Okay, so with that, we have a question for you, which you can write in the chat, and we can again talk, because we want you guys to communicate and have your feelings out, because this is more of an emotional topic for us. That's why we want us to be emotionally involved. What is your vision of a livable city? What are things you look forward to? Anyone can answer. Please contribute as much as possible. How can we define a livable city? What are the parameters that can define a livable city?
At least it should provide clean air, water, and have some good weather. That's it.
Anyone else?
I'm from hot water, so I'll say water. So
Okay.
water availability. So that's really important, and quality of air. So of course that's
good oxygen and good weather, like place like
Yeah.
Bangalore and all.
Yeah.
Bangalore weather, which is what it is there, where I stayed. That's a good weather. If you compare, I travel to many places in Andhra, even Hyderabad, even Pune and all, even Mumbai. I keep on traveling in many places and all. But I feel this Bangalore is having right climate and all. If you compare with many of the other urban cities, Mumbai or even Pune, Delhi, of course, we can discuss. Really good weather is the major point of the idea of the urbanization, urban places. Of course, traffic and all other things are very bad here. I do agree. But weather is the major this thing you check. It's one of the required.
Right. So why I'm bringing, we are bringing this vision of a livable city because we want to start with a vision. First we have a vision, right? We want to imagine what kind of world or a city we want to imagine. And then we want to look at the current reality through looking at urban heat island and roads. And then we will see the mitigation adaptation to reduce the gap. Whether first we'll see whether it is possible. If it is possible, how it is possible. And then we will look at the adaptation and mitigation strategies. So that's the idea. So let's have this vision in mind, whatever you have, dream about it, think about it, because that will drive us to, do something about it. That vision will drive us. Otherwise, we will just become the victims of urban heat island. Okay, with that, I will move on to, so Nikhil, you can take over this slide.
I mean, see, this urban heat island brings a lot of challenges. So what do you feel, which communities get really impacted by this urban heat island? If you can speak, talk, and just put in a chat, will help.
Dhananjay, if it's possible for you,
Yes.
can you read the chat?
Yes, Anup,
if
you are right.
Yeah.
I will read.
Oh,
no
you are
issues.
reading? Okay,
Yeah,
great,
I'm reading.
great.
No issues.
Yeah.
No issues. Sorry. Yeah, Anup, you are right. Daily wage earner.
No,
Nitisha is right.
especially,
Yeah. Please.
those
Yeah.
who are working actually in the open, the construction workers.
Correct. Sure. Yeah.
So maybe they are impacted the most.
Correct. Correct.
Farmers.
Any more?
Farmers.
Yeah.
Farmers.
Yeah. Farmers. Correct. Yeah. Any more?
Everybody on the road actually.
True. Yeah. True. That is
Yeah.
true. That is true. Everybody on the road, even us, even common citizens also, people who go on for work.
Yeah. Apart from anybody is under the shade, everybody, I think.
Correct. Yeah. Unorganized settlements, urban dwellers, people who people who are marginalized communities who stay in slums.
Yeah.
Correct.
Kohli community, right? The
Only community, yeah, right.
Fishermen, yeah.
I mean, because of this temperature rise, the temperature in the oceans have increased by around 1.2 to 1.4 degrees Celsius. And this has been recently been told by one of the researchers in Indian Institute of Tropical Meteorology. What exactly happens is, because of this rise in temperature, there is an ocean acidification, because of which the fish catch in seas reduces. So because of which there is a supply demand mismatch and prices of fish rises, and because of which fishermen unka business chala jata hai. So how will they survive? So there is a chain of events where because of this, the entire community gets impacted. And this is where the policymakers, they miss the point that even the vulnerable communities should be considered while making certain kind of policies. Right, true, animals. We missed animals, plants.
Yeah, who said that? Yeah.
Mandar sir told that's correct.
Yeah,
even animals.
Yeah.
We humans, we don't think about plants, we don't think about animals, we only think about ourselves. No, everyone, the nature should be considered, should be given a due respect. Siddhesh, next slide.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
These are the news articles which are trending from last 1 year. And you may really see it trending nowadays in social medias, news articles. And we have been trying, we have tried to get all in board, like what are the causes, what are the impacts, the impact of heat island on different sectors like water, health, farming, lack of green spaces, the city's built up area been increased. So how does it impact the urban heat island? So all have been covered in this slide. And this has been quite a trend in nowadays, but there has not been any sort of actions going on in place. Yes, next slide.
Also,
please,
these glass buildings,
you
can say, I think that is also is a concern.
Correct. Yeah.
Earlier, people felt it's for elevation, but now it's a concern area.
Correct. The urban, what you spoke is correct. The urban morphology or the facade or the building envelope, that plays a very important role. You are absolutely correct. that is a point missing. I mean, people generally don't give due respect to nature as well as the policies at place. See, there are policies which says what kind of facade or what kind of enveloping building material you can use, but we don't use it. That is a different ball game. This is just a definition. I mean, see, I have been brought up in place called as Dombivli, which is a Mumbai suburb, and I have seen how the landscape has changed. We had good gardens here, parks, trees, but suddenly because of inorganic growth, urbanization, that has been replaced by unorganized infrastructure, which is not well planned, buildings coming up. So that impermeability, that permeability, sorry, has been converted into impermeability concrete layer. So exactly what happens, this sort of this sort of infrastructure development has increased the heat or has trapped the heat in relation to the neighboring surrounding area. Urban heat island is nothing but it is just a localized concept. Be limited to the localized concept in comparison to the nearby rural area. If you go on to the concept at a global level, it's nothing but it's temperature rise. But when you add a lot of layers like infrastructure, cutting of trees, reducing the blue-green infrastructure, that leads to urban heat island effect.
Any questions related to this definition? If anyone has or want to contribute their own idea,
please.
yeah, please feel free. Otherwise, we'll move ahead.
Sorry, I have a point to
yeah,
add
yeah.
over here. So I think one of the effects that I have seen of this is directly in the kitchen area, especially in kitchens where there is community cooking happening on Anganwadi kitchens or school kitchens or, generally kitchens in the urban settlements, because it's actually a double whammy where you have heat outside, you have the trapped heat inside, and you have the heat emanating from a cooking device. Whether it's the traditional chula or even the LPG gas. And what I have seen is that, so that is leaving women a lot more exhausted to do whatever they are supposed to do, leading to a lot of dizziness and many episodes of fainting. And the other thing is also the effect of this food, the effect of this heat on the food itself, especially in a scenario where you have cooked and you've kept the food outside. So the food quality completely is depleting because of this very factor, which is not something that we experienced maybe 3-4 years ago. So it's also affecting the quality of the food, which of course, has a staggering effect also. So kitchens also are, where, I mean, I work in clean cooking. So,
Yeah.
For me, I have studied this phenomena through my work. So it's just become a new factor in the entire thing, which was not there earlier.
And thank you, Nitisha, for joining, because like you actually work on the field. You bring that. Nitisha has a foundation on clean kitchen, so thank you for joining and bringing the insights. And we have a lot to learn from your field experience.
Thank you
Well,
for
yeah,
inviting me, Siddhesh. Thanks a
yeah,
lot.
thanks. Yeah, so I will
Please
just move
continue.
on. Yeah, so Nikhil, yeah.
This is the current reality. I mean, the frequency of warmer years has increased. This is based on the study by Mumbai Climate Action Plans. Then land surface temperature has increased by 3 to 5 degrees Celsius in last 2 decades. This is a study by National Environmental Engineering Research Institute. Sea surface temperature we have already spoken. Incidence of unpredictable precipitation has increased by last 5 years. This study was done by in few of the magazines. If you have heard about Citizen Matters, then increase of changes in DTR, that's diurnal temperature. There's a difference in temperatures which is observed in a single day. This is quite detrimental because when there is an increase in temperature, your body can't take it. It affects your metabolism. So you can lead to fatalities, heat strokes. And the last point is lack of localized data to guide policy changes. there is a study by CPR, that is Center for Policy Research, which says we don't have proper data at place. I mean, there is no proper heat assessment done on its impact on various sectors like water, maybe health, etc. So this is the current reality, and I would say the heat action plan, if you have heard of, has someone heard about heat action plans? It is open for everyone. I mean, you can even type in a chat box or you can talk on it. Has someone heard about heat action plans? Yeah, got it. Yeah, okay. No, okay. Yes, I heard. Yeah, Anup has heard about heat action plan. Nitisha has heard. So heat action plan is a document which is done on the guidelines of national NDMA, that is National. I have heard, but I am correct. It has not been implemented. I mean, there is a research done by CPR which says heat action plan is incomplete. It is in place, but is not implemented fully. We have got heat action plans of Thane district. I stay in Kalyan Dobli, but so I will follow what sort of heat action plans guidelines are done by Thane district. But the issue is it's not been implemented properly. Why it is not been implemented properly? Because there is lack of coordination between departments, between government departments. Why it is not been implemented? Because you don't have localized data. You make it generic and you try to implement it. Why it is not been implemented? Because the vulnerable population is not being covered. So the policy documents have to look at various facets and then try to see how it can be implemented in each and every layer. So this is a challenge which needs to be taken care of if we really have to move forward. And the main challenge is in its execution stage. Whether you are working, as what Nitisha told, in kitchens, indoor kitchens, whether you are traveling, whether you're working in the construction industry, whether you are working somewhere in manufacturing sector, whether you're staying indoors in a slum, all these factors have to be considered, not giving a generic solution. So can we move forward?
Yeah.
Oh, this is a heat tracker report which Down to Earth publishes every day. So this is of 30th May. This is Down to Earth magazine is funded by CSE, Center for Science and Environment, and they publish this every day. And they publish considering heat index, that it takes into consideration temperature, humidity, and wind speed. And you can see places near Gujarat and Rajasthan being really hotter, with heat index more about in the range of 60. And places near Mumbai are in the range of 40 to 50. This is nothing but feels like temperature. It's an apparent temperature.
And I can see Srinagar also, like
Srinagar,
just imagine.
Yeah, this is true. And if places like Srinagar, if they become hotter, you might assume that हम लोग जाएगा किधर hill station में. We won't go for anywhere for holidays if the entire country becomes hotter. And you might even see the snow caps been melting. You won't get proper water during the season. There will be water stress. So there are a lot of challenges. I mean, if you don't address now, it will be tough. Lonavala is becoming correct. Mandar sir told Lonavala is becoming such nowadays. अगर श्रीनगर हो रहा है तो लोनावाला भी हो जाएगा. So this is really alarming. See, this is a report from Mumbai Climate Action Plan. Before 2000, you can see the temperature well within the normal, well within the mean. Whereas from last 2 decades, you can see the temperature rising, going as high as 35 degrees Celsius. This is in the Mumbai Climate Action Plan. You can visit Mumbai Climate Action Plan and see different kind of reports. This is taken from the IMD. Siddhesh, next.
And when I see it, just imagine during 1970s and all, you have cooler than me. Just imagine like how it must be
You have
feeling.
got average
I still don't have the memories now, how it used to feel when we were children.
20.
Like,
It was
I don't
around 27, 28 degrees Celsius. Now you
because
can
I used
see
to play. I used to play all the time outside. Now I don't see children playing outside in the
You have
afternoon.
got-
I used to play entire day. Like, so, yeah.
now it is around 32, 33 degrees Celsius, sometimes going up to 35 also. So this is a comparison between two places at different time zone, at different years. This is near to the airport, international airport, 2005 to 2010. The temperature was around, the minimum temperature was around 29 degrees Celsius to a maximum of 33 degrees Celsius. And when there has been a lot of development, infrastructure, roads, flyovers, and you can see the temperature maximum of 38 to minimum of 32 at the same stretch after 10 years. So you can see how the temperature has increased by around 5 to 6 degrees Celsius in that time zone of 2 decades. I mean 15 years. So what might have contributed to this? The infrastructure growth, the trees, blue, green infrastructure being converted into flyovers, bridges, metros, airports. So this stretch is near the airport, near our international airport, Chhatrapati Shivaji International Airport. This really shows a trend of like Sanjay Gandhi National Park, बहुत ही cool है, बहुत ही calm है, because we have got green forest cover, green area. So आपको वो area बहुत ही cool दिखेगा. Whereas Santa Cruz, जहाँ अपना airport है, where there is a lot of infrastructure, lot of concretization, roads है, वहाँ temperature बहुत ही ज़्यादा है, बहुत ही hot है. So this is a perfect example of urban heat island. This area is too hot in comparison to the nearby Sanjay Gandhi National Park. But what we do, we try to cut trees, forests, and convert it into more infrastructure, more development. So इससे और कठिनाई और गर्मी बढ़ने वाली है.
Actually, we create kind of heat sinks in a way,
Yeah,
heat
heat sinks.
So, yeah.
So let's move on to the next slide.
Yeah, 1 minute. I think it's stuck. So let's.
No, people can add. I mean, people can.
Yeah, of course, because it's not, as Dhananjay, it's not an expert session. It's more of a co-learning session for us.
If people might have seen some kind of trend in their places, because I'm just covering Mumbai and we are covering Mumbai and Pune. If people have seen in, like Prabhu sir, if Prabhu sir has seen in Bangalore, or someone might have seen in West Bengal, will be very helpful.
I just want to add one comment. So it is said for these two cities. First is Pune and second for Bangalore. It is said that these two cities never required fan.
Of course. Yeah.
So these two cities, even Bangalore, it was cool city. So that was the name.
Yeah, it doesn't require much fan, and even it doesn't require AC and all. Even in my own office, I don't have AC at all. From past 10
The
years.
situation has changed now.
Yeah, now it is going up. We are using fans and all regularly. In it, almost 12 months, we are using a fans and all.
So let's move. So what we are going to do now is Nikhil and I have prepared this causal loop diagram. This is just a rough diagram. It's not, it's not what you can, it's very scientific. It is just a rough way of making the understanding, having an understanding of what is urban island and what it is doing, right?
What are the,
so there are
what are the causes? What causes the increase in temperature? And that we can see in the left side, whereas in the right side, you can see what are the impacts of this urban island. And this, we will be taking this as a baseline or this as a learning experience for our En-ROADS workshop. So I would request people to go with the flow.
Yes. So it's just a rough diagram as to understand, that urbanization, population is increasing, because of which, green spaces, water bodies are reducing, because of which cooling is reducing and urban islands are happening, right? And we also have manufacturing sector coming because of urbanization, because of which you can say the greenhouse effect is happening. Gases are getting released, which leads to temperature rise and which leads to again urban highlands. So there's a lot of causes, right? We don't want to go much in detail if this causal loop diagram because of shortage of time. We also have to cover the En-ROADS, but you just get a feel of what is happening, right? So this leads to health hazards like you have rise in mosquitoes, we are going to see in En-ROADS. You also have the health burden on the city because of the labor loss that we already spoke about. It has an effect on farming. We already discussed this. Yeah, Nikhil.
Yeah, crop yield आपका reduce हो जाएगा. बाद में when you have high temperatures outside as well as inside, so what we do, we on the AC. AC जब ऑन करेगा आपका एनर्जी डिमांड बढ़ेगा. आपका एनर्जी डिमांड बढ़ेगा तो आपको और टेम्परेचर बढ़ने वाला है because of release of greenhouse gases. So this is all cyclic effect. It reinforces your cycle और आपका urban heat island और बढ़ेगा. So we'll be this is just a flow or a flow chart. Whereas when we go to En-ROADS, we'll be seeing a dynamism of that. What is a positive, what is a negative effect?
So what En-ROADS does internally, it creates such kind of diagrams in a simulator, which you can actually simulate, right? This we have created in Miro board, but you can actually create this in a simulator software and you can simulate. And that's what En-ROADS is all about. It is a simulation having lots of variables connected together. It's a system dynamic model in a way. It uses internally, I think it uses Vensim as a software, but it builds such various models and connect them together.
Just to add, Siddhesh, just previous slide. So we have covered a little bit sectors, little bit of thematic areas like urbanization, cooling, concretization, fossil fuel dependent industries, greenhouse gases, and the impact part has farming, health, and if you go for productivity loss, you can even bring economics into it. GDP loss, which Siddhesh doesn't like it. We don't add GDP loss.
I feel GDP is the reason for all this. So that's why I avoid trend.
So we were having an argument why दिखाना के नहीं दिखाना यार GDP main है. So this is the thing which really matters. I mean, how urban heat island can have such a tremendous impact on our GDP at the end of the day, right? Because there is a labor productivity loss, there is farming crop yield loss. क्रॉप यील्ड तो लोग खाना खाएंगे, बढ़ेगा, आपका सप्लाई डिमांड कर्व इंपैक्ट होगा. So this is policies have to think about all the systems. So what Siddhesh told, it has to be looked into as systems. Whereas we miss a point. We have only got solution to one एक छोटा problem. Let's close that problem instead of attacking the entire system. So that En-ROADS will try to solve it will give us a better insight. So we will be moving from here to En-ROADS.
So Nikhil, you can share your screen now.
Yeah, I will share my screen. Take me now. Is my screen visible? Is my screen visible?
Yeah. Yes.
So this is En-ROADS simulator. Okay. Where you can see different variables like energy supply है जो अभी हमने देखा, transport जो हमने देखा अभी, then we see buildings, urbanization का हम बात करें तो we have covered even urbanization, then other sources of greenhouse gases like agriculture emissions, deforestation. So everything is being covered in these levers. Okay, these are the variables. If we move these variables, there will be certain changes in temperature that we will be looking in our future after ये सब खत्म होने के बाद हम वो देखेंगे. So ये हमारे this is the two graphs, okay, wherein there is a temperature which is shown here, that is 3.3 degrees Celsius, and either it has been represented by a graph temperature change बोल के, and different sources of energy supply. So we'll be starting with baseline, such as business as usual scenario. Like अगर हम current trend में आगे जाए with current policies in place, so हमारा temperature कितना से बढ़ेगा और उससे कैसा impact होगा. So that we'll be seeing in our first phase. Right,
Sorry,
Siddhesh?
sorry, Nikhil. Before everyone is comfortable with Hindi, right? In between, if
I'm
we
sorry.
use,
I'm sorry. I'm extremely
no,
sorry.
no. I'm just
Yeah, yeah.
asking because, yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm comfortable with Hindi.
Because
Yeah,
I'm using
sure.
English, both Hindi as well as English.
नहीं
I'm
हिंदी
sorry.
आती है
कुछ
ऐसा
रहेगा
कुछ
तो
No,
फिर
नहीं
please
है।
बोलिए.
so what happens, when we are emotional, we tend to use our base one language and also.
बेसिक
I'm
लैंग्वेज
I'm extremely
Yeah.
sorry if I
No,
can.
Nikhil, you can use.
नहीं
So
चलेगा
continue.
ऐसा
Yeah.
कुछ प्रॉब्लम नहीं है हिंदी
So
मेरे लिए तो चलेगा
चले, okay, thank you. So yeah, we will be looking at. See, we are divided into 3 phases. First phase will be going as business as usual scenario, considering current policies. So what will be the temperature rise? What will be the different impacts? Second, we will try to see what kind of scenarios, if we tweak certain parameters, certain variables, how will this change? How will the temperature change? What will be the kind of impact? And third, we will see what kind of interventions can be made into our policies, our regular variables, so that we can reduce the impact. Okay.
And
That
Nikhil,
is,
just to before we continue with this, I just wanted to, I forgot to show the slide of En-ROADS, but just to tell you about En-ROADS, see just how amazing this tool is, right? You can open it in a browser,
yeah,
and it runs very fast. Otherwise, if you run big simulators, you can't run it on your laptop because they are very huge. But what En-ROADS have done for us is that they have given this tool to us to experiment with and tell stories and try to experiment and understand the current reality. And it is credible because it extensively refers the research of IPCC and a lot of other research. It is scientifically, it has a backing of MIT and all this, right? So it is an amazing way to look at the current reality, not just about urban heat island. You can just have a look at any problem statement and you can take a look.
it
right?
covers entire facet of climate change.
Hmm.
I mean, we are mainly focused on urban highland because it is what we consider as being is really a crisis in places where we stay. I mean, that the India has a country which is facing now. So we will start with different levers, like we have got impacts here. We'll start with extreme heat days. If we have, I will just Mumbai.
You can, if just check, you can zoom it or not.
Let me see. It's fine.
Yeah.
Is it visible? Is it fine?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know about people if you're using mobile how it is looking, but
Oh.
let us know if not. You can zoom in the mobile to look at it.
मैं और इसको zoom कर सकता हूँ.
नहीं वो you
चलेगा?
show whatever. Yeah, that's fine.
See, if अगर हम current trend से जाएंगे, business as usual scenario से जाएंगे, so we can expect an increase of around 3.3 degrees Celsius by 2100. This is completely against what Paris Agreement says, because Paris Agreement says to limit the temperature below 2 degrees Celsius while restricting into 1.5. So this completely goes against the Paris Agreement. If we go business as usual scenario, considering the current policies. And this is one of the impacts which we see because of the temperature change. This is extreme heat days, whereas we are looking in mainly in the Mumbai, Pune region. And this is what is the current scenario. This is baseline. It shows 1.5 degrees Celsius by 2030. Okay. And there are different color zones marked, like if it is slightish pink, is it pink?
Yeah, you can say that.
Pink. This is 91 to 180 days per year where the temperature is about 32 degrees Celsius. Okay. And when it's dark reddish, it is reddish. It is 181 plus days of 32 about temperature above 32 degree. See why we are marking it as 32 degrees Celsius, because it is told that above 32 degree matlab heat day, heat event. So that is why the baseline setup is 32 degrees Celsius. So what we can see is almost more than 60-70% to अपना area covered is heat day के हिसाब से covered है. Okay. This is in the places near to Mumbai and Pune. Agar if we go slightly below towards Bangalore, Mysore, then we can say thoda temperature looks little bit like
Cold.
in the colder, like we will be having heat days, but lesser amount. Like
Yeah.
31 to 90 days per year will be about 32 degrees Celsius.
Anyone else wants to look at it and say which areas you want to look at?
So this is extreme heat days. I mean temperature above 32 degrees Celsius.
I was just thinking,
Yeah.
you said 90 days means almost 3 months it will be so hot
Yeah.
in areas like Bangalore.
Yeah.
So other
Yeah,
areas
yeah.
we can't imagine also. 6
Hmm.
months it will be hot.
Yeah.
That means I think after 2028 it will be a horrible situation.
Correct.
We will
I
not
mean,
understand in which season we are.
correct.
So-
I mean this. Yeah,
So,
yeah. Please, Siddhesh.
Nikhil, you can move the lever and show now what happens in 2100, like 2100 year.
2100. The temperature. I mean, you can see Bangalore and
See,
Mysore.
It's
The
changing.
entire.
still okay, slightly.
No, this
But look at the north. Look at north. Look at north. It's going to be completely shifting towards red.
Telangana, Maharashtra,
And
Amaravati.
I think since they are considering 32, but if we think about, I think most of the cities will be above 40.
Yeah.
Like I think, yeah.
This is regular temperature. I mean, if you go for feels like temperature, apparent temperature, it will be much higher.
Hmm.
Can you also maybe show me what happens in the Himalayan region?
Himalayan region. Let's go. We are near Himachal, Jammu and Kashmir.
Much better.
Much better.
No, but it will still have an impact on the
Yeah.
Yeah.
glacial melt.
Glacial
right?
melt. Yeah. True. Right. Right. You will have, if you have impact on the glacial melt, it will obviously impact your water security also.
Yeah,
Can you-
absolutely.
Can you now? Can you now reduce it to 2020 and
Let me,
let's
I will reduce it
2025
to 2030.
and
Yeah.
30, yeah. So it will have still, yeah, not much, yeah, but it is already started maybe then. Okay, so what we are doing here, of course, it's not possible to cover everything about En-ROADS in 1.5 hours. We just want to give a glimpse of how we can make sense of the current reality using this software, right? That's one of the objectives of this workshop. This is one way we are doing it, making sense, having a dialogue, and we should encourage such dialogues more and more with communities in societies. That's what I feel strongly nowadays.
So shall we move to the next slide?
Yeah, next one. So any questions? Otherwise, we'll move on to the next. Can you show the menu just to look at what they have given the instructions? So we can
Yeah.
also look at the details of every lever and every.
So this tells maps of days per year expected to reach a temperature at or above 32 degrees Celsius. Okay, around the world. And this prolonged exposure can increase the risk of life-threatening conditions such as heat stress and heat stroke. So, and this, they have given few of the resources from where they have taken this data. This has been mentioned in the menu. And
yeah, so everything like research papers, whatever, what research is they are following, everything is mentioned here. So let's move to the next part. Yeah, that is.
so we'll move on to that's from extreme heat by region.
So now we are looking at the impacts, right? We already have a brief idea about the heat waves and heat days. We are already feeling also. Let's move on to the impacts and see what is happening.
So this is the sad reality. the heat waves comes with a lot of fatalities if not taken care of. And I mean, this they have covered in terms of continents, in terms of region specific. Like if you see, the Southeast Asia has to bear a lot of burden. This black marks says it's a baseline, and whereas the blue mark also says it's a baseline because we have not changed or we have not inputted any variables. We have gone with the current scenario has not changed. We are going with the current policy set place. Okay. So you might say the extreme heat, if we go with the current trend, ये just ऐसा indicative number बता रहे हैं कि there will be 13, sorry to say 13 deaths per 1 lakh people per year. And obviously, if you don't be extra cautious while we go outside during obviously we shouldn't go outside during if it's in a high heat wave, or because normally nowadays we get such kind of warnings कि आप बाहर नहीं जाना चाहिए, अगर आप जाते रहोगे तो you have to be properly hydrated. And generally people with chronic illness or people who are old, children, they should avoid going outside during a heat wave. So
I think let's move on to the next.
Okay.
Any questions related to this? So what we are doing, we're just getting a glimpse of the impacts through En-ROADS. Okay, so we are going to look at the simulation in detail as we move levers, but till then we just go to current reality.
This is just current, considering the current policies in place. Yeah, outdoor labor losses which we spoke of when we discussed on CLD casual loop diagram. How there is a labor losses because of this extreme heat. Minimum 14 days per year per worker, there will be a loss of labor, considering the year 2024. And if you keep on moving the current trend, it will go almost up to 28, almost a month loss of days per year per worker. So this will obviously add to your economy, add to your GDP, all those stuff.
And then we must remember that this is a global average. It's not like
it is not confined only to India or only to Asia. It's a global average.
Yeah, so Nitisha has asked a question, is there any factor of heat-based migration? I think we have that, right?
Yeah, I think
we have
ecosystem shifts from
ecosystem shifts. But these are more ecosystem shifts. We don't have migration, I think, in En-ROADS. I have not seen that.
मेरा क्वेश्चन इसलिए था कि अर्बन में तो हम काफी बार like you know lot of us say कि दिल्ली छोड़ के चले जाते हैं, बॉम्बे छोड़ के चले जाते हैं, kind of a thing. But I mean my context is always rural. अब वो मतलब उनके factors बढ़ते जा रहे हैं, reasons to migrate.
Yeah.
Lekin heat is a very strange factor because let's say a community that is in the vicinity of forest dwelling or mountainside thing, वहाँ उनके लिए कुछ भी नहीं है in terms of they've given up their farms and everything. लेकिन जब वो शहर में आते हैं, heat is a new phenomena for them. So now that causes a lot of confusion क्योंकि उनकी bodies accept नहीं कर पाती है. So which is what I wanted to just we know about income-based migration, we know about climate-based rehabilitation and migration related to rise in water levels, etc. But I don't know if there is any study that has been done related to heat wave-based migration, or is it too soon to kind of like.
So. Yeah, I got your point. So I think what is happening in En-ROADS, this they are not. I don't think we are in touch with them. We want them to. We might have a call with them to understand whether they can include urban heat island and all these factors also, because it's a very very needed case study, right? That one should talk about. So I think
it's here to stay, right? It's very clear that heat waves are here to stay.
Yeah. But
Okay.
but the
Unnoted, yeah.
irony is like, for example, so I came to Pune because I wanted to escape the tensions of flooding and all in Mumbai. But it's happening in Pune also. Flooding is happening, heat waves are happening. So
Exactly,
where
exactly.
are we going to
Yeah.
migrate is the question now. So yeah. Next is
So ecosystems shift from warming is not basically migration, it's how the ecosystem as a whole will change. Which you can read a description, like how an entire ecosystem, if it is evergreen, how how it changes to temperate, or how how greenery can become a desert, how it desertifies, how it becomes desertification. So ये आपका जो heat island है will go to a worse situation. The entire what would I say, the environment which makes that particular kind of ecosystem, makes that gives that temperature, it will completely change. And this will impact the habitat, will impact the environment, will impact the place, everything. Even the source of income, jobs, employment, everything will be impacted. So this is the ecosystem shift which they are talking. And almost 2,000 hectares of area will be impacted.
Nikhil, what we can do now, because we have another half an hour.
Okay,
so we can show just one impact of dengue and mosquito, and
Okay.
then we will move on to playing with the simulator.
Okay, no issue. Got it. So the heat rise or the temperature rise even comes with lot of infectious diseases. These mosquitoes, the infectious diseases, whenever there is an increase in temperature, humidity, it leads to more of infectious spread of infectious diseases. And you can clearly see in this chart how there is a widespread, how there is increase of malaria and dengue because of urban heat island, the temperature rise. Almost 8,100 people might get affected if proper care is not taken. I mean, see, what I would say, a heat wave एक ही नहीं है. अगर if you see the proper urban morphology, अगर आप settlements देखोगे, urban settlements, slums देखोगे, you might see कि वो सिर्फ temperature नहीं, even there is no proper ventilation. अंदर क्रॉस वेंटिलेशन भी नहीं है. सो पीपल हैव टू सी कि आप एक ही प्रॉब्लम के ऊपर ध्यान नहीं दे सकते. यू हैव टू सी मल्टीपल एरियाज और मल्टीपल फेसेट्स, जिसकी वजह से आपको वो प्रॉब्लम को सॉल्व करना पड़ेगा.
So I think now let's move on to then the intervention, because there would be more discussion involved in that.
Okay.
So yeah, let's start with the business as usual scenario.
The business as usual हो गया अभी just.
हो गया ना?
हाँ.
Yeah, no, I mean, let's start from the scratch, open the
Okay.
window from scratch, and then
So let's start with energy supply.
yeah. So let's ask the question now to them. So the question we are going to ask you all is, what do you think are the primary drivers for urban heat?
So we have already gone through CLD. We will get some kind of idea कि what causes this temperature to rise.
So what do you think? And based on your answers, we are going to move certain
Move the
levers,
sliders,
and then we will see whether what is the impact it is making with respect to the temperature.
See, either you can see two graphs. One is a global source of the primary energy, and another is a temperature change. Primary energy, if you see, different kind of energy resources are available, like coal, oil, gas, renewables, bioenergy. This is the energy mix for that particular for our ecosystem. So what do you think? क्या होने से अर्बन हीट एलिमेंट बढ़ेगा, टेम्परेचर बढ़ेगा?
कम होगा या कम
होगा बढ़ेगा? Anything, yeah.
Anything.
Major is this coal usage.
Okay. So let's do one by and yeah. So
coal को क्या करो अमोल? Should I increase it, decrease it?
So see, now almost 75% we are on coal only.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So maybe after 2030 it will reduce.
Yeah.
So now more of it is like coal only is the major factor what I feel.
Okay.
And so, do you think if only we move coal, and how much temperature will reduce according to you? It's just a guesswork.
अभी currently
And
it is
I will
3.3.
tell you just why we are doing this, because this is something called as multi-solving we are going to move towards. So we are going to understand whether by moving just by working on, in isolation, working on only one parameter, is it going to make any difference? That's the question. So it's nothing. I'm
Okay,
not
okay.
putting you in the podium. It's just a
Yeah.
discussion. So it's just a question. Yeah.
Like अगर आप coal कम करोगे, coal plants कम करोगे, say
Yeah.
it is not only temperature which might decrease. There will be some other factors जिससे वो affect हो सकता है. Like what Siddhesh told, multi-solving. So
Yeah.
जैसे हम बोलते रहते हैं कि एक तीर से दो निशान, तीन निशान, ऐसा.
Yeah. So coal you have to reduce maybe I think by 50% renewable you have to increase by 50%.
Let's do that and see how much difference it is making in the temperature.
coal को reduce करो.
50% से reduce करो. Temperature changed by 0.1, did it? And renewables by 50% increase karo. Yeah, so 0.1 around. So only 0.2 difference. So when we see that, right, if we only focus on coal, and it's not making huge difference.
One more point, Amol. I mean, if you try to reduce coal by today, see, there is some kind of time gap also.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't.
So can you open the menu and show the hamburger menu? Yeah.
See, इधर लोग लिखा है. There is something called as reduce new coal infrastructure. Years to reduce. Even for reducing coal infrastructure will take time. So you can't reduce it in a day because it has got certain kind of lifespan. 25 years, 30 years, आपका coal plant survive होगा. So it will take that years to elapse, and then new technology can take its place.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Anup has a question. Anup, yeah.
Yeah. So if just a point, if you increase the coal at the same time the renewables, so you might have to increase the net zero also.
Net zero. मैं net zero increase करूँ?
Yeah, because it's like if 50-50 is the same, so it's kind of a net zero, right? So how this factor works here? My question is that.
Can you open? So look at the menu and look at the description of net zero.
See, it is a new source of electricity. Like एक नया breakthrough. Like हो सकता है कि nuclear fusion हो या thorium based nuclear reaction.
Yeah, hydrogen
कुछ भी हो.
yeah.
So, and it will take some time to gain traction. Okay. Like अगर आप कुछ invent करते हो आज, तो आपका market में next दिन में नहीं आता. It will take some time to get commercialized. उसका cost भी कम होना चाहिए so that it becomes commercialized and people try to use it. So obviously it will take some lead time, some gestation period will be there.
So you can just
sorry.
Yeah, continue.
It's not that if the fossil fuel is increasing at the same time, somehow the just transition of the energy is happening through renewables. They are not considering as a net zero emission, right? So according to them, net zero is like if you are using any other alternative sources of energy.
That is a huge breakthrough that has happened.
Is it what? Okay, is it what they mean by the component net zero, right?
Yeah. There, yeah.
Got it.
Some huge breakthrough in the technology.
The second is this energy efficiency.
Yeah.
Okay. So that is a factor. And also I think agriculture and deforestation.
Let's try to change that.
Energy efficiency, should I highly
increase? Yeah.
No, with respect to building and industry.
Okay. With respect to building and industry.
Transport will also affect definitely.
Yeah, and transport also it will increase, right?
It will affect,
yeah.
Because
can you see the temperature change?
Scope 3, yeah.
So the blue line is the current scenario we are working on. So yeah, we can look
See-
at the replay using En-ROADS.
See, there
Yeah.
is a point degree, 3.1,
Yeah.
2.8.
Yes.
And energy efficiency of transportation also.
Yeah, both are
Maybe
moving.
maybe
0.5.
electrific.
From 2.8 to 2.6. There is a 0.2 degree.
Anything else?
See, if you see in the global sources of primary energy, there is a reduction in energy usage also, energy demand also. Why this has happened? Because of energy efficiency. Because you have brought efficiency in your appliances, in your transportation, in your building envelope. So that has reduced the energy consumption. If I move back this lever to where it is, you can see energy consumption increasing.
Yes. Yes.
अगर अब मैं वापस इसको भी बढ़ाता हूँ तो आपका एनर्जी कंजम्पशन बढ़ रहा है, एनर्जी डिमांड बढ़
But
रहा है. अगर
it's
मैं
the new
इसको
products what launched.
या
And
अगर
can we
आपको
also increase population?
yeah sure you can increase
And
population.
Anup, you can just talk in between. You don't have to raise. It's a discussion anyway. So please, yeah.
Okay,
बोलो.
मैं
okay.
पॉपुलेशन इंक्रीज
I
करता
was
हूँ.
just
Sorry. पहला population करो. Yeah, population.
पॉपुलेश करेगा तो आपका टेम्परेचर
Populationing.
पॉपुलेशन इंक्रीज
0.1 से बढ़ गया.
0.1 से बढ़ रहा है.
Yeah,
sorry,
Anup.
I was just thinking that this changes it is showing it's based on the global average, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can we see it based on a particular location, because they have used the land parcel data, like it is somewhere written that they're using the square of a 22 square kilometers. So if I want to see one city and change the lever in India, let's say, and then I have to see that, okay, how that 1.5 C we can reach. So what the lever would change? I mean, the back engineering could it done? Like if I have to see 1.5 and the lever will automatically change and see this much amount, like it has to be or something like that.
Okay, so reverse you are saying, reverse. Okay. Reverse I don't think they have. But India, I don't think they have regional temperature thing. I think we can look at the heat map, but still Nikhil has some doubts with that, right?
Yeah. So see, this is basically on a global scale, and see, this is not for any forecasting and
Yeah.
not for forecasting. Basically, it's for simulation. It's just to communicate your ideas to the policymakers,
Right,
to the people. You need to
Yeah.
sensitize issue. आप
Yeah.
इसको ऐसा फोरकास्टिंग मैकेनिज्म मत लीजिए कि मैं कम, दिस इज जस्ट टू कम्युनिकेट पीपल की कैसा इम्पैक्ट हो रहा है. अगर आपका पॉलिसीज को आपको प्लस माइनस करते हैं तो क्या टेम्परेचर चेंज हो रहा है, उसका इम्पैक्ट क्या है, मैं कौन सा लीवर्स कम करूं जिसके वजह से मैं कुछ इंटरवेंशन लेके आ सकता हूँ. जैसे कि यू विल हैव सर्टेन लिवरेज पॉइंट्स, सम लो हैंगिंग फ्रूट्स, जिससे मैं कुछ कम करके टेम्परेचर को कम कर सकता हूँ.
जैसे एनर्जी एफिशिएंसी हो गया
एनर्जी एफिशिएंसी,
बिल्डिंग्स
जैसे
का.
आपने बराबर बोला,
One-
जैसा अमोल और धनंजय ने भी बोला कि आप एनर्जी एफिशिएंसी बिल्डिंग्स और ट्रांसपोर्ट में लेके आओ. सो देयर वाज अ ड्रास्टिक रिडक्शन इन टेम्परेचर.
Oil
Right,
will
right.
also affect if we
Oil?
use oil. Na? Yeah.
Oil subsidized, oil very highly taxed, not a major change.
And may I have, like, I have 2-3 questions piled up. Can I ask this or at the
Yeah,
later
sure.
stage? should I ask?
Yeah, this is more of a discussion only. So yeah.
Okay. So I mean, what kind of when we see the maps and the baseline, so in the simulator they're using this baseline not as a fixed term, right? So each year the baseline is changing, because when you are facing the map, the baseline is showing only 2100 years, or is it taken baseline as 2000 only?
Baseline is
I mean,
2000.
what is the baseline here
Baseline is 2000.
for
2000.
each case? But
Yeah,
when
no,
you show the ecosystem
no.
warming, there
No,
the lines has changing again and again. Baseline
no.
is also showing.
Sir,
Okay.
baseline is 2000. Okay. Why there has been a change? Because we have made certain changes here, certain changes in the variables. If you have seen earlier, we have not made any changes in the variables. These are the scenarios being created. Earlier, the baseline and this bluish line was equal because we have not changed any scenarios. The policies जो अभी चल रहे हैं तभी भी वैसे चलेगा 100 साल के बाद, 100 साल के बाद. तो इसलिए आपको कुछ चेंजेस में कुछ चेंजेस नहीं दिखा. अभी हम चेंज करें, जैसे कि बहुत लोगों ने बताया कि एनर्जी एफिशिएंसी करो, न्यू जीरो कार्बन में चेंजेस लेकर. सो देयर वाज some changes between the baseline and the current scenario.
नहीं, यहाँ पे नहीं बोल रहा हूँ। जब आप ये चेंज कर रहे थे ना निखिल जी, जब आपको ग्लोबल सोर्स ऑफ एनर्जी वो जो लीवर है वहां पे अगर आप मैप का जाओगे और इकोसिस्टम वार्मिंग का
नहीं,
जब था तो उस पे जब दिखा रहा था तो दैट दिस इज नॉट अ टू सेपरेट लाइन दे हैव डन दिस वन लाइन व्हिच इज ब्लू एंड ओवर दैट दे हैव
किसमें
डन द
इम्पैक्ट में?
ब्लैक वन।
Can I add it? So
Yeah, yeah,
actually
हाँ
the
Dhananjay.
confusion
नहीं,
confusion ये है
नहीं, एक मिनट, किसमें आप बोल रहे हैं?
ये जो इकोसिस्टम का जो एक ऑप्शन आपने किया था ना, इकोसिस्टम शिफ्ट फ्रॉम वार्मिंग, तो उस पे
ओके,
जो लाइन था
इकोसिस्टम,
इम्पैक्ट में, हाँ
इकोसिस्टम फ्रॉम नीचे है क्या? एक मिनट।
इकोसिस्टम शिफ्ट फ्रॉम वार्मिंग, हाँ
third formula. Yeah.
हाँ, अभी ये चेंज हो गया ना, आप देखा रहेगा, अभी चेंज हुआ रहेगा।
Yeah. So
हाँ
what is it, you know?
क्योंकि आपने वो
Sorry.
लीवर चेंज
हाँ,
किया।
इसलिए
Dhananjay has to say
Correct,
something.
correct,
Say
correct,
Dhananjay.
correct. So what the confusion is, you know, so initially the simulator works like there are two scenarios. First is a baseline scenario, means whatever policies currently
ओके
are there, so this will be continued to be in that way.
throughout the end of the century, 2100
Yeah.
years,
गॉट
2100.
And second is
इट
what
गॉट
we
इट।
want to change. So if we change means it's a simple way like in experimentation, what is it? The control batch and
Control
the
group, control
control
and
group and test
experimental
group.
group.
Yeah,
Control group and
राइट
experimental group.
yeah. So in the same way. So that's the thing.
ओके ओके, नाउ आई गॉट इट, बिकॉज यू हैव चेंज वो लेवरेज जब चेंज किए तो अभी वो डिफरेंस दिख रहा है,
करेक्ट,
पहले उस टाइम पे नहीं दिखा था क्योंकि
हाँ, दोनों दोनों
and-
सेम रहेंगे. When you are not doing anything, blue line and black line would be on the same. But as you do, blue line will move away, shift away from the black line.
राइट राइट। तो ये एक मेरा डाउट था। दूसरा ये है कि आप मतलब जो डेटाबेस इन्होंने यूज किया था, ये क्या मतलब सैंपल कलेक्ट करके यहाँ पे जब इन्होंने ये डेवलप कर रहा था सिमुलेशन उसका डेटाबेस के लिए कि he has like they have done taken samples and then extrapolated to make the simulation, or is it on the real time scenario?
It's through multiple research papers, IPCC. They have followed more IPCC reports, and they have put inserted the data from IPCC in the Vensim simulator, I think. So it is real time data in that, real research data. And their results, their simulation results come as much as close to other simulators. But this is more of a lightweight simulator, right? Yeah, Murli sir, please. Go ahead. Yeah.
No, I just had only 2-3 points. Number one, if you see the real reason for the urban heat islands, what you see is because of not following zoning laws. We have in India what is called as the zone laws, where residential places have to be there, where industries have to be there. Of course, it was a very old legislation which was there, but it is left and right getting violated. And obviously, instead of going horizontal, it has become vertical. This is number one. Number two, as was discussed earlier, a report which was made by the Center for Science and Environment indicated, though you say it's slightly controversial, but what they say is that the buildings which are constructed is not according to the requirements of Indian conditions. You say it's green building because you use lot of glass and the facade, whatever is there. But this is a real absorber of heat and it radiates, wherein they have found to extent of at least 3 degrees rise in that zone. Wherever you have tall towers with all these facades and glass buildings, it has been found that when the temperature increases, of course, internally you use AC and other things, that's different. But the external radiation, it is to the tune of 2.5 to 3 degrees. This is the second thing. So if you look at it, some of the things have also a cultural connotation. In the sense, we just ape or follow the Western style of this thing of having office like what is in Europe or US. It doesn't work here. So it is something which is to be, that is the second reason for that.
Yeah.
Third, now is that what is being looked at is to look like you have been talking about various parameters and other things, adjustment. If we see two things, one is nature-based and deforestation. Unless the urban greenery and the forestation or the zoning is developed, this is going to be there and it is going to increase because of the fact that more and more buildings are getting cramped, like Hong Kong. If we see that, because the density is on the increase, but you don't have space. So it is something like this which is happening, the trend. This is again the third reason, if we see, of this urban heat. So fourth, if we look at it, is basically when this has been understood as an issue which is likely to come up in the days to come, a sort of a climate risk, what is required is that the retrofitting and the financing. So this is one of the agendas of climate finance topic. However, the climate finance has not assumed a greater significance or greater clear-cut definition that they are not in a position to allocate funding for these sort of things, the retrofit which has to be done. Of course, we see such things are happening in Europe, in many cities. This is being done because they are very clear that, like Paris or other places, if the heat wave comes in, they will not be able to survive there because they are not used to that heat. Whereas in our country and the Mediterranean regions, we are used to heat, but it is going beyond limits. So another factor is the policy changes and the climate finance, which is to be taking into consideration these aspects. So when we look at all these parameters can be changed. If you simulate, yes, it will give benefit. But when we want a substantial control, or if we say mitigation, what is being talked about is more of adaptation.
Yeah.
So if we have to look at the mitigation plus adaptation, there will have to be a new formula which has to come up. And of course, this simulator is good that it could be used by many people in the colleges who study climate science and other things. It may be very useful for them to study various locations, and when data collection, other things come up, it could help in a change in the policy, or at least assist in the policy formulation for the future by the governments.
Yeah.
That's what I just wanted to say.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir. Yeah, great insights. And to add to that, we have, as you said, right, deforestation we can show, right, Nikhil, if you can change it, and it whether it makes an impact now, because what has happened now, already deforestation has happened. Now we are trying to stop deforestation, so it's not making huge difference. But there is something called as carbon price, which I think which makes a huge difference, right, Nikhil? Just check if I remember correctly. Yeah.
Yeah, just a time check.
Yeah,
Last
yeah,
7 minutes.
last 7 minutes. Yeah. So Anup, yeah, quickly, can you? What's the question?
Yeah, so I was just asking about. I didn't finish. I'm sorry for asking too many technical things. So इनका जो database है, they have used a research database or like LHC, land surface temperature, or it's like a particular buildings का मान के चलो कोई apartment है and
no
4 blocks है उनका, तो they have used that kind of data.
No. So you have to understand, this is not an urban heat island effect simulator. Okay, this is more of a climate change ka simulator to understand climate change. Urban heat island we are taken as a use case. They will need different levers to simulate urban heat island, which they don't have currently, which we will like to have to understand urban heat island. But this is a simulator to understand the climate change, how it is adding and what all factors. And we have just tried as an experiment whether we can incorporate urban heat island through En-ROADS. It's an experiment. So you
Okay, and
can't directly, because you don't have the simulation levers or variables to directly understand. It's not a causal loop diagram of urban heat island. It's just a causal loop diagram
right,
of climate crisis.
right.
Yeah,
Got
that
it.
way.
And
Yeah.
the last point, maybe ये full fledged है कि beta में है और ये written
नहीं,
किस में है,
full
Python
fledged
और
है.
which
Yeah,
language?
so
Full fledged. Okay.
behind the
Full
scenes,
fledged.
the simulations are built in Vensim, and Python, I think they use as
Okay.
an API to run it through the browser.
Integrate.
So yeah, integrate it to the browser. Yeah. Can you
Okay,
try
got
with
it, got it. Thank you so much.
agriculture? Yeah, Nitisha has a question. Can you try with agri emissions? Agriculture का है क्या इसमें? Yeah. So agriculture का change करके क्या होता है, निखिल?
Temperature reduces by 0.2.
0.2.
1.9
So
degrees.
temperature reduces by 0.2. Not much of a difference because already has happened. What we can do now, Nikhil, what is remaining now? I think we have covered most of the aspects of En-ROADS. At least we wanted you guys to have a glimpse of it, right? So I think we can move to the slideshow and just finish it off in 5 minutes.
Yeah, sure.
Right. So you can stop. You can stop presenting. Yeah. So I will just move to the final aspects of the presentation, So as Murli sir already spoke about, okay, so I didn't show this, right? So En-ROADS, as you said, right, it is very credible and it follows IPCC and a lot of other things. So just because of limitation of time, I'm not going into detail, but you can do their course. They have which I will show at the end. They are also starting with a code group in July, 1 month course where you can, have live sessions with them and you can finish the certification. And after the certification, once you deliver at least 2, like we are doing, this is our first. If we do 1 more, we become En-ROADS ambassadors. So we can go to colleges and and we can do such sessions across the world through online. So the question now before we wind up is, now this is happening, right? Heat waves, everything. What would you like to contribute as a citizen to mitigate and adapt? Like what are the things you can imagine? Dhananjay, if you have anything.
Yes. So what can we do? Maybe at personal level we can start and handprint. How do we increase? Yeah. Maybe tree plantation. So that's one small thing that we can do. Then at policy level, maybe we can, but that's not in directly our control. But yeah, at policy level, maybe we can ask, we can demand it to be focused.
What about, I just have a question because, like I find it difficult to get involved with the community, but I have no option now. I'm like, because I'm a techie, right? I will sit on my laptop and do but what is it? We have to somehow get involved with communities now, our society, talk to them about this thing, what we can do to reduce the heat of our societies. This is what at least comes to my mind, ki terrace mein you put this, Nikhil, if he gets time, he will talk about it, but there's school roofs and all this stuff. Anyone else who wants to add anything else can be done?
No. Majorly, what I feel is maybe at personal level, use this public transport, maybe then reduce waste. And what I'm thinking that maximum use of this white color paint to the buildings. Okay, so I think that will definitely impact. Okay, so these things maybe recycled material. A lot of things are there. But majorly, I think government also should come with the policies of like green steel, green buildings, all those things. So definitely, because the use of AC is now, I think government recently, maybe 2 days back only, they were saying the ACs will be inbuilt, like the temperature will be between 22 to 28 only we can use or something like that. Okay. So ultimately, a lot of things can start from home, definitely with respect to industry, renewable and dependency on the coal and oil we have to reduce.
Right. True. Anyone else? Otherwise, I will just move on to Nikhil.
Nitisha has told about food habits.
Oh, Oh, food habits. Yeah, Nitisha.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that is
right. Nitisha, I
also
want
very
to add
important.
to that. You already spoke about that, but yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm saying at a
Nitisha,
personal
please, yeah.
level, I think choice of foods and general other things that we consume, there is a huge potential for us to contribute from that perspective in terms of, localized, consuming localized foods, understanding where our foods come from, and that sort of helps in reducing the carbon footprints. And also, I think within the homes, this is my personal experience that there's a lot of choice you can make in types of fabrics you are using, home plants, the way what kind of furniture you're choosing, clothes you wear. At the home level, there are a lot of factors where you can try to reduce the heat aspect of it. And then at a community level, I completely agree with you, Siddhesh, when you said that societies have to work together, or any kind of groups have to work together, because this is not an individual problem. I mean, we can't deal with something like this in isolation. That's very clear.
Thanks. And also Mandar has added something, right? In the chat. Where is it? I forgot. Yeah.
Make myself adaptable to changes.
Adaptable to changes. Yeah. That's the last option, kind of. If we
Anup,
don't have community support, then that's what we kind of tend to rely on. I think
has added increasing carbon handprint rather than footprints. If you can.
And
has told grow plants in home, correct? Yeah.
So this is quickly to show, that what all things. So we already know, right? Reflective paints.
Correct.
Yeah, green roof.
Wagle has covered, even Murli sir has covered a lot of points like.
And vertical gardening or farming, kind of Nitisha's, it covers that. And okay. So most of the things we already covered, so we don't have. Okay, so way forward, what we are doing is we are just showing one of the slides from En-ROADS. There's no magic solution, as we saw, right? It's not a single action that we can take and it fixes the climate action, right? It takes many seeds to plant a garden, many actions in many sectors at the same time, working with carbon pricing, energy efficiency, lot of levers to move at the same time. It's not something single, and that is what En-ROADS helps us to look at. And we have to do it with government, sit with the policy makers, make them understand you have to do so many stuff together. We can do it. There is hope. It also gives us hope that we can do it. The good news is that it is still physically possible to meet our climate goals and avoid the worst case future, even if some people may argue that it is not politically or socially feasible, because we already started with a vision, that we have a vision for a green, livable future, right? And that should drive us to create a sustainable future. So yeah, as I spoke, this is the En-ROADS Ambassador program that is starting. It is a cohort group starting from July 1st. So it will be live sessions. You can also do it offline. So it will make, you can go through details, whoever is interested to understand the simulation in detail. That's it. Yeah. Nikhil, you want to say anything, last words, or we can hand it over to Dhananjay?
Yeah, we can hand over to Dhananjay.
Okay, so I'll stop sharing.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Siddhesh. Thank you, Nikhil. Thank you all of you who have joined and
sorry, before we forget, we have to click a photo. Huh?
Yeah. Yes.
Whoever wants to be on the camera, they can. Whoever is not comfortable, that's fine. But we need a screenshot of the current screen. So those who are not comfortable, yeah. Thank you, Mandar. Thank you. Anyone else? If it's fine, if you can't.
Yeah. If you can, just for maybe 30 seconds.
So we have to submit this to En-ROADS, just to show that we have done this, because they are putting so much effort. They have put a lot of effort in building. So it's an encouragement for them that people are doing across. Okay, great. So we can take a screenshot. Dhananjay, you are taking?
Yes, I have taken. Yeah. Just one more. Okay.
Sorry, yeah.
Just a minute. Anup, if you can.
Hey, where is Nikhil dropped out or what? Main person dropped out. Kidhar gaya?
I'm here. मैं इधर हूँ.
अच्छा, yeah. Now you take.
Yeah, take it. Yes, and I have sent you this, so you can just check.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah.
On WhatsApp. Yes, and really wonderful to connect with all of you and listen to you. Thank you so much. We'll connect again next week. Thank you so much. Have a great weekend.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a great
Thank you so
weekend. Have a
much.
great weekend.
Yeah. Bye. Take care.